Welcome to Hump Day again, y'all, and to your special little secret guilty pleasure, the Salty Goddess podcast. I'm Ann Margaret Perry, and you made it. Make sure you follow, subscribe, and share so that everybody else can be a party to all of this fun every single week. And I'll be kind of salty if you don't share. That ain't right. Okay, so what are we going to talk about this week? Now, y'all got that special surprise on Monday for that Irish holiday, if you will, St. Patrick's Day. So, along the vein of last week episode where we discussed whether or not marriages should be considered contracts and negotiations in a business deal versus a love match, we came to the conclusion. You love how I say we? We came to the conclusion that you have to have that love chemistry in the beginning, but then you need to have a deal and negotiation later on in time. That's the important part. Okay. Why? Why is that important? Well, without chemistry, it's kind of hard to have that attraction and move your way on to this other relationship. And so you have to think about that. And then if you treat it more like a contract negotiation and the fact that you have to compromise and you have to negotiate things and you have to realize that no two people in the room are going to see things exactly the same way, maybe we do a better job, a much better job at handling the barriers, the obstacles, the things come up in those relationships. So, along the vein of relationships, let's continue discussing relationships and the important relationships in your life. And how are we going to manage those relationships? Or how do we choose which relationships we want to continue and manage? That's what we should really be thinking about today. So, in conversation this morning, and I want to thank Paul for this because it was Paul that gave me this idea to talk about this. He said he had heard once, many, many, many years ago, that women choose their partner thinking that they can change them over time, and that men go into relationships and believe that nothing will change. So women become disenfranchised when they realize they couldn't change their partner, their spouse, their man. And men become disenfranchised when things change because that's not what they were expecting. Surprise! The unexpected happens. So we should plan for that, right? What? Wasn't that what we talked about on Monday? Planning, pre planning, pulling your meat out of the freezer in time for dinner, maybe? Maybe. Planning is extremely important. I promise you, you have got to be realistic, ladies and gentlemen. We're all going to get wrinkles for the most part. We're all eventually going to get like white hair. Mine started at 16. We're going to gain weight and lose weight and gain weight and lose weight. We're going to break out. We're going to grow facial hair. Sometimes, yes, ladies and gentlemen, women do it too. Welcome to menopause. Butts are going to get wider. Thighs are going to get thicker. Let's get realistic, okay? It happens. Are you shallow? So the only thing that matters to you is the packet and not what's in the package? Well, get over yourselves because I got news for you. We're all going to change. We're all going to sag. We're all going to droop. We're going to get stretch marks. We're going to get scars. Lots of scars. Okay? Going to have to learn to deal with it. Friends, that's the way it works. This is life. This is real. Again, life is not a Disney movie. You're not Prince Charming. I'm not Sleeping Beauty. Trust me, I only sleep 3 to 5 hours a day. And then I still do that under protest. So come on, get real. We're going to get wrinkled. We're going to get liver spots aging spot. Our eyes are going to go bad. We're all going to get presbyopia. Come on. All right. So, ladies, I've got news for you. Or anyone in the partnership that believes it's all right. I'll take this individual on. I will fix that. I will fix that. I will fix that. I have news for you. The only time that someone changes is when they want to. Simple. Simple. And I'm going to steal a little something from Bill Burr. Somebody sent me a reel recently of him from one of his stand-up shows. And it was the funniest crap I'd ever heard when he said, oh, I realized in my relationship that I'm always under construction. I'm like a building with scaffolding. I'm a piece of crap. Is somebody going to tear me down? Why is it taking so long for all of this, remodeling and fixing to take place? And yet here's my wife. Perfect. She doesn't need to be remodeled. She doesn't need to be repaired. She doesn't need to be fixed. So Bill Burr made me giggle this week. That was nice. I was tickled at that reel that somebody sent me. Maybe or maybe not. It was a male that sent it to me. So that was kind of funny. So what do we get from that? No one's going to change if all you ever do is throw it in their face that there's something damaged, wrong, traumatized, wrecked about them. I have a special surprise for each and every one of you beyond the shut up and get planning episode we did on Monday. We all, in one way, shape, or form, are damaged or traumatized or broken in some way. Each and every single one of us can improve from the person that we were the day before. The most important thing that each one of us needs to realize, we need to become self-aware and understand why we do some of the things that we do. And I hate to use this trendy term, triggers. I hate to use it. I really, really, really do. But what are those things that leave us with a raw, exposed nerve that is so sensitive that the unassuming and unattacking person that maybe steps on that nerve doesn't realize is that they've activated a response in us? Why do we respond that way? Become self-aware and understand why you have those responsive behaviors so that you can understand that often the person on the other side of the conversation isn't doing it purposefully to trigger you, but is doing it unaware. Okay. So become self-aware, reflect upon yourself, look in that mirror and see what has happened in my past that leaves this specific nerve raw and exposed. For me, it's often when someone questions my authority or my authenticity or my knowledge on a subject matter. When I'm telling you, no, this, I definitely know this, right? So, but why? Why does that bother me and leave an exposed raw truth or a raw nerve, excuse me? It's because somewhere in my past, someone invalidated my knowledge and did it repeatedly enough that I'm defensive about that particular subject. So when you become self-aware and you realize, you know what, I don't want to use the term overreacting either, but when you have a specific response consistently to the same stimulus to that nerve, that's you. That's not the other person. 9 times out of 10, it is not the other person. It's you. And it's the way you've been conditioned. And yeah, we're all conditioned in one way, shape, or form. All of us, every single one of us, we're all conditioned. It's indoctrination, that filthy word that nobody ever wants to talk about. But we are. We're all indoctrinated from the moment that we're born until the end of time. There are things around us that influence us. Why do you think influencers are so popular today? Why do you think that? Because we're easily influenced. We're human. Simple. right? And following influencers is all part of the following the crowd, the conformity, the fitting in. And if that's your number one motivator for why you do things, then you will easily be influenced by others and indoctrinated and so on and so forth. I always, always, always try my hardest to not be influenced, to read between the lines, to make my own assessments and things of that nature. I think it's extremely important. And I think it's only fair to the people around you. I mean, how many times have you heard about someone before you've met them and you've already formulated an idea in your mind about this individual and it turns out to be absolutely untrue? I'm guilty of it. I've done it. I've done it in the past. I try not to do it today because I understand that I have news for y'all. Okay. I come by my own opinions of my own volition. I don't listen to what anybody else is saying. I do it based on what? Remember the bank account we talked about a couple episodes ago? That's how I determine the balance in the bank account is based on my interaction with you. End of discussion. I can hear all the kibitzing over here about this and all of this about that. But at the end of the day, I'm doing both myself and you a disservice if I am not assessing you based on our interaction. If you've treated me fairly, kindly, and with loyalty or fairness and all of those things, then that is what I should base my relationship with you on. Not whether or not someone else feels that you treated them fairly, or whether or not you treated someone else with the loyalty they felt that they deserve. And that's what I think is extremely important. And try not to fall into that trap. It's easy to fall into because we do it all the time, right? Our parents tell us. I remember being younger and our parents being, saying things like, stay away from this one. They've got a reputation. They may very well have a reputation. They may very well have done something that my parents are aware of that I didn't know about. Totally okay. I get it. Parents, our job is to protect. But at the end of the day, we also need to make these decisions ourselves. End of discussion. Period. That's all there is to that one. All right. So if these things are so important that we make those assessments, we have to have really good assessment skills. And we build those over time. Nobody is born with the best assessment skills. Please, I've befriended individuals that have, how do we say it, bit in the hand that has fed them. Found out later that many things that were told to me were untruths, and things of that nature. Makes you second guess your ability to assess other individuals. Keep working at it. It takes time. It takes experience. You're not going to have all those skills at the age of 12, 15, 19. Shit, I didn't have them until, do I even still have them? Probably not. So don't allow others to peer pressure you into anything, from trying an illicit drug, drinking before you're of age, speeding, revving on the red line, Lake Avenue, Rochester, New York, any of those things. Be your own person, stand alone, and it is okay and acceptable to stand apart from everyone else. There's nothing wrong with that. Nothing wrong with it at all. Blaze your own path. Do what you feel is right. But do what you feel is right, not what friends have told you is right. My sweet little angelic granddaughter got off the bus today and told me that someone bullied her and said she didn't fit in because she didn't have the same shoes they had. Now, you know that Mamo Bear in me got a little hot under the collar. And I thought to myself, let me find out who these kids are. I'm going to go talk to their mama and daddy. I turned around and said to her, I said, sweet thing, listen, the type of shoes that you wear don't determine whether or not you fit in. And you don't want to fit in with people just because their packaging is pretty. What really matters isn't what they're wrapped in, but what's inside. Ah, let me tell you. And I told her, your insides are just perfect. She does not miss an opportunity to tell the world how wonderful they are. She will tell you that you're beautiful every day. Or as she says, Mamo, you're beautiful every day, Mamo, every day. She does not miss an opportunity to tell you, I want to be strong just like you. If she only knew. I don't even want to lift a 10-pound bag of flour, okay, out of the cabinet. She doesn't miss an opportunity to tell other people, she could have just met you, how sweet you are, how beautiful you are, how kind you are, how she wants to be your friend. And I told her, I said, those are the important things, not whether or not you have on a specific pair of shoes. And by the way, there was zero wrong with her clothing. Mamo knows because Mamo likes to shop, okay? And I just thought, wow, and she is 5 years old. Well, before she left my office, she had a smile on her face and she was skippity-doo-dah-daying all the way down the hall. That is not the way in which she entered my office. She entered my office with a frown and a slump in her shoulder. Who does that to a 5-year-old? And what 5-year-old does it to another 5-year-old? Oh, what are we doing? How are we teaching a 5-year-old child that their shoes determine whether or not they fit in? I don't even know what to say. I don't know what to say. This is not how to start out relationships. It's not. So I'll tell you once again, parents, those of you in the audience here that are listening, share this with every other parent you know. Share this podcast with every other parent you know. Let me give you some wisdom I might not have even had in my 20s and 30s when I was raising my children. Okay. Don't let your kids be that way. Don't bring up your children that way. It isn't cool. And one day, another Mamo's going to hear that crap and maybe knock on your front door and go, can I have a conversation with you? I don't have time to hunt y'all down. I hope that somehow, some way, y'all get to read this or hear this podcast and learn from it. Don't do that crap. It's useless. God, that's horrible. All right. So relationships, they're important. We have relationships with people all over the place, don't we? Relationships with family, friends, lovers, partners, spouses, siblings, parents, grandparents, grandchildren, great-grandchildren. I also want to talk about everybody being realistic and who they choose as a life partner. Don't choose someone because they have deficits that you wouldn't otherwise overlook, but you think you're going to fix them. Don't choose a partner because you think that their superficial beauty will last for eternity, because it might not. It probably won't. And then, to be honest, I've seen some serious ugly ducklings transform into some of the most gorgeous swans in their adulthood that you could never have predicted. The future is unknown. So remember what I mentioned before. Stop making decisions that have long-term consequences based on temporary conditions. Beauty can be temporary. Weight can be temporary. Life is fleeting. All we have to do is look to the Christopher Reeve story. And if no one has seen it, take a moment to look at it. Go watch it. One free moment in time. And everything will change, can change. So keep that in mind, everybody. Now, that's not to say I'm telling you don't get married. That's not to say I'm telling you don't have children. Don't grab a partner, a spouse, a lover, whatever it is that you're going to do. Don't be afraid. But also don't unwittingly enter into behaviors that result in lifelong consequences based on temporary conditions or based on a compromise that you really are not ready or willing to make. Remember what I said. Don't be marrying no Ford drive. And as for you, Mr. Paul, I don't care if an Oldsmobile hasn't been in production since 2004. I would still much rather drive that than a brand spanking new Ford. Because I bet you that 2004 Oldsmobile still has far more longevity than a 2024 Ford or a 2025 for that matter. All right. Moving on. Let's talk about a relationship between yourself and your physician, your healthcare provider. I am not going to mention names. I refuse. I refuse to out anybody because I'm not getting fined for a HIPAA violation. You understand? But if y'all don't start being honest with your healthcare providers, I swear I'm going to lose it. Do you understand me? Stop lying about how many packs of cigarettes you smoke a day. Stop lying about how much alcohol you consume a day. Stop lying about how many calories you consume a day. Or how many grams of fat, how many grams of carbohydrate. I'm just so over it. Why are you lying? Why are you lying? Would you accept lies in that bank account that you have with an interpersonal relationship with a friend or a lover or partner, whatever, your children? No, you wouldn't. So please stop lying to us. We don't care. We really, truly do not care what you do. We will advise you that these are healthier choices. We will advise you what will result if you continue down this specific path of unadvised vices. I don't know how to put it. All right. But please stop lying. We cannot help you. We cannot assist you if you constantly lie to us. And all we want to do, everybody. All right, I'll take that back. I cannot use everybody. It's too inclusive. Almost, well, there's a bell curve, right? 80% of the population, that's where normalcy falls in. And then there's 10% on this end, 10% on this end. They're called the outliers. So a full 20% are considered outliers. But 8% of the population joins the medical community as a provider or practitioner because they want to help people improve their quality of life. Y'all come into the office and lie? Woo! Some of these lies are pretty damn good. Not really, though, because we can almost always out you. We can look at you and know, okay, I can smell that you've been smoking. Can smell that you've been smoking marijuana. I don't care. Do you, boo? But don't lie to me. Because if you're lying to me about stuff that is important to treat you, what else are you lying about? Come on. Just be honest. And I will tell you, if you are in with a provider or a practitioner and they're yelling at you, don't go back. Find yourself one who doesn't pass judgment. I'm not pass judgment. You tell me what's going on, I'll tell you how to make it better. You have medical autonomy. You can choose to follow those instructions or that advice or not. That is your choice. You are an adult, but don't lie. Don't lie. And children, anybody under the age of 18, please tell the truth. to any practitioner that's trying to assist you. They cannot help if they do not know the truth, and they will do everything in their power to assist you. Okay? So be honest, be forthright, be self reflective. All right? Be realistic. I'm telling you all the things you should be. Be all you can be. Come on now. Army had it right. Let's go. Why be anything else but authentic and honest? The rest of it's just a facade. There was a time when I used to eat circus peanuts. I don't know, like a lot. Do you think I lied to the physician when he asked me, what do you eat every day? A bag of circus peanuts, half a pecan pie. Mm, I drink 2 liters of soda a day. I was honest. There's absolutely zero reason for you to not be honest. Why would anybody not be honest? I don't get that. I don't get that at all. Uh, and do you think it helped? And then I'd go back and that doc would say, uh, maybe you should stop doing that. You're probably right. I probably should. I probably should stop doing that. Probably should. Probably should. But I didn't. There's no reason to lie. It's unnecessary. Can't help me get better if I lie to you. So you tell the truth. That's the important part, is to tell the truth. Always. Always, always. At least to those that are there to help you. I mean, I guess whatever you do in your interpersonal relationships with your friends and family is your business. But would you really want to be in a relationship with people that you have to lie to so that you can be in the same room with them? Why do you want to be in a relationship with someone that you can't be your authentic self around? That I don't understand. So be your authentic self, do your thing, make yourself happy. And when you're happy, that attracts other happy things. Sounds kind of corny, but it's true. So what's your job this week? Your job this week is self-reflection. Figure out why you do the things that you do so that you can improve yourself. Because the only competition you should be having is with yourself and yourself of yesterday. And did you improve from yesterday to today? That's the important part. That's it. That's the life goal, I suppose, in the grand scheme of things. So self-reflection, find out why you do the things you do. Find a way to motivate yourself. It's called intrinsic motivation. I have tons of it. Don't know where it really came from, but got tons and tons and tons of it. Extrinsic motivation. Sometimes you need that accountability partner. I have a group of friends that are my accountability partners. I'll pass things by them and go, okay, tell me, am I being dumb here? Is this a good idea? What should I do? And I take their advisement, their words. I take it under advisement. Do I always follow it? Pieces and parts, this and that, what works best for me. Sometimes I don't follow it at all. All right. So self-reflection, improve yourself day to day, day over day, day over day. It's like compounding interest daily. And understand that the best change that you can ever be a part of is your own personal change for the better. So I'm glad that y'all made it here this week to hang out with me for the Salty Goddess podcast. That guilty pleasure that I hope you're sharing with all your friends, your family, your unfriends, your unfamily, whatever, everybody. follow, subscribe, download, and share. I want to hear back from you guys. I want you to tell me what you think about this week's podcast and what you think about all this relationship talk. Because you'll find out in some future episodes that a lot of these relationships I'm talking about are going to be the basis of your continued growth. So, see you next week. Don't forget to tune in. Thank y'all. This is a Salty Goddess podcast, and we'll see you next hump day for some more knowledge dealing.